Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen here, leading the movement for movement and bringing you another edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday training. And in this particular edition, we're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why we need to modify an exercise. So, drawing from the Autism Fitness certification curriculum and our Autism Fitness methodology, we always bring it back or start from the PAC profile, looking at the physical, adaptive, and cognitive reasons why we might have to modify or simplify an exercise for our autism or neurodivergent athlete. So, if we look at the physical aspect, whenever we see movement compensation, and that means a breakdown in form, which is important, that means that the muscles that we want to do the job are essentially not doing as good a job as they could. And so we see extra movement, sometimes what we call an energy leak. This can eventually lead to not necessarily injury, although that could be the case. So it might not be an acute injury that someone incurs, but it can lead to overuse patterns and it can lead to discomfort, a lot of discomfort. When we talk about low back pain, when we talk about hip and knee problems in mid adulthood, later in life, a lot of these stem from dysfunctions in movement. And most of that comes from a deficit in strength. So when we're identifying or when we're assessing a movement pattern, we want to look out for these movement discrepancies, what we refer to as compensatory movement patterns, because they won't just fix themselves. We don't want to program an exercise and it doesn't look quite right for that athlete, but we say, you know what? It'll just get better over time. It won't get better over time. That's what good coaching and intelligent programming are for, because the thing is just not going to pop out and get fixed simply because an athlete is doing a lot of that exercise. An improper squat form is just going to continue to be an improper squat form. So we have to take measures to correct it. And that's not just with some type of, corrective exercise, but it's having them do the exercise at a level that they are currently capable of doing it and building up from there. So that is the physiological reasoning behind modifying an exercise. 2, we have our adaptive or motivational reasons for modifying an exercise. A motivational reason might be we see that our athlete is getting anxious or they're beginning to get off task, they're getting upset. Rather than immediately stopping the set of exercises, overhead presses, band rows, whatever you're doing, and saying, okay, you can take a break now, what we can do is for a short period, lower the expectation for that exercise. So instead of, now this doesn't mean performing it with poor form, it means instead of 10 repetitions, we might have the athlete do 5 or 6. So it's a lowered expectation for a shorter period of time. And in the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification, you get the information around when it is appropriate to lower that expectation or when we want to maintain expectation as well. And it varies athlete to athlete, but there are general concepts and practices that we follow around that. So that's an adaptive reason why we might modify an exercise, and that's usually short term. And then finally, we have the cognitive. Now, cognitive, we divide into the neurological and then we into the neuromuscular. This comes back to how we might coach an exercise. We might modify it by providing some type of physical cue for it. It might be a verbal cue, not over explaining it. I could do an entire video, and there is an entire video on that. It's in the level 1 certification. But anyway, we want to provide the athlete with structure and scaffolding around doing the exercise to the best of their current ability. And sometimes that requires some support. That can either be their cognitive, their actual understanding of the exercise, or it could be the way that they are performing it in terms of their body awareness and needing some support there. So those are the 3 situations in which we're going to modify an exercise. Of course, we can get much more specific exercise by exercise. That's what you get in your Autism Fitness Level 1 certification, and we start mastering that in Level 2. So again, to reiterate and bring everything back, when we're looking at an exercise and the performance thereof for that particular athlete, we are assessing it from all three levels of ability: physical, adaptive, and cognitive. Can they perform it to standard? Do they are they motivated to perform it? Do they understand the expectation? And if not, which one of those things needs addressing so that they can perform it to best of their ability and get the absolute most out of that particular exercise? I'm Eric Chessen. I'm the founder of Autism Fitness. This has been your Tuesday training. Please like, subscribe, and share this with others if you think it can make a difference for them. And if you are ready to be the catalyst for health, fitness, and better independence in daily living for the autism and neurodivergent individuals in your life, well, then it is time to become an Autism Fitness Level 1 Certified Pro. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching.